July 21st, 2025. A calm Monday afternoon in the heartland of Minnesota. The sky, a high dome of July blue, stretched over the quiet fields and two-lane highways near Granite Falls. And yet, within minutes, the silence would break. Shattered by a scream of descending metal and the thunderless thud of impact, a moment of peace turned abruptly to tragedy. The aircraft was an Aero Vodochody L-39C Albatros, a sleek relic of Cold War-era engineering once built to train fighter pilots behind the Iron Curtain. This particular jet, registration November 339er Lima, was privately owned, registered to a company known as L-39 Aircraft LLC out of Alpine, Wyoming. It had taken off earlier that day from Watertown, South Dakota, en route to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Its final destination, the legendary EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Aboard were two men, David Colin Dacus, aged 46, from San Francisco, California, riding in the back seat, and Mark Ryan Ruff, aged 43, of Dallas, Texas, seated up front. The journey, by all accounts, was expected to be routine, but shortly after 5:23 p.m., something changed. A call came through to air traffic control, engine trouble. A distress call, not panicked but urgent, followed by a rapid descent. The L-39 began a series of right turns, consistent with an attempted dead-stick landing, a silent glide toward safety. But safety was just out of reach. At 5:32 p.m., the jet struck high-tension power lines near the intersection of Highway 23 and Yellow Medicine County Road 39. The aircraft broke apart in the field beyond. Witnesses would later describe a sudden flash, the crack of snapping cables, and silence once more. Only one of the two men survived. Mark Ruff ejected. Investigators would later find his seat's parachute tangled near the roadside. He was found standing, disoriented along the highway, and was quickly taken to a nearby hospital with injuries that, while serious, were not life-threatening. His companion, David Dacus, did not eject. The reasons remain unknown. He perished at the scene. The aircraft itself, manufactured in 1975, nearly 50 years before this flight, was destroyed. A trainer designed for resilience and speed, it had become, in its final moments, vulnerable to age, to fate, and to circumstance. The National Transportation Safety Board quickly took the lead in the investigation, joined by officials from the Federal Aviation Administration. Yet, as of July 26th, no preliminary findings had been made public. What caused the engine trouble? Why did one seat eject and not the other? Were mechanical factors at play, or was it a matter of seconds lost in decision? There were no other casualties, no homes struck, no bystanders injured. A tragedy isolated to the cockpit, but its ripples would spread outward, through families, through communities, through the tightly knit aviation world preparing for Oshkosh. Much has been made of the aircraft's connection to a larger fleet linked to prominent aviator Matt Guthmiller. Though he was not aboard, his name surfaced repeatedly online. Photos, flight logs, registration numbers, all examined by digital sleuths trying to piece together a puzzle the NTSB had only just begun to solve. In the days that followed, a controlled detonation was carried out at the crash site. Investigators had discovered an unexploded ejection cartridge still on board. The jet had been designed with safety systems, meant to save lives in desperate moments. One of them worked. The other, for reasons unknown, did not. David Dacus was not just a passenger. He was, himself, a pilot, certified for single-engine aircraft. Perhaps that experience brought him calm in those final minutes. Perhaps he believed the landing would succeed. We may never know. And so we are left with questions, with timelines reconstructed from radio calls and ADS-B data, with a survivor recovering, with a grieving family, with wreckage transported under federal guard to be examined piece by piece for answers. It was a day like any other until it was not. July 21st, 2025, near Granite Falls, Minnesota. An aircraft fell. One man survived, one did not. If this story moved you, I invite you gently to stay with us. Subscribe for more true accounts, leave your thoughts below, and share this with someone who values the quiet truth behind the headlines.